Welcome, beloveds, to our day 22 of the Angel Healer Summit. I am always delighted when I can say yes to requests by the angels. And we're here today because of a long series of requests and yeses over a very long period of time. And I'm so pleased to welcome Reverend Jodi Cross because she was at a nexus of one of those big yeses. Welcome, Jodi.
Hi, Kimberly. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here. You have been such an inspiration to me and such an important part of the foundation of our angel ministry that I just wanted to have an opportunity to talk about it. And it's been so fun during this Angel Healer Summit. I had no idea that this is what we are going to be doing, but we've been able to chronicle a lot of the early days of what happened in the angel ministry. So, as an example, when we spoke with Reverend Akushi, she reminded me of some things that I'd forgotten. So, and I've forgotten a lot. So, I'm so joyful to be having these conversations. So, Reverend Jodi, I want to start with you at the very beginning. So, where did your spiritual journey begin?
Okay, so it started when I was incredibly young. My grandmother took me to Sunday school at the local church when I was about 3, maybe 4. And I was introduced to this chap called Jesus. And I can remember as the teacher was telling us about the fact that his father was a carpenter. My father was a carpenter, and I can remember thinking how lovely it was that I had something in common with this amazing person. And so I really enjoyed learning about him and his family. And I was very aware of the energy within the building. It was very different to anything that I'd experienced before. And I suppose that's where I really started to feel that I belonged to an ethereal family as well as my own family. So that was pretty special. And the village church gradually became like a second home to me. As soon as I could read, I was allowed to go to the services with my grandmother. And then I soon became a member of the choir and loved singing in churches. Um, and I always knew I had a special sort of job to do while I was here. Um, on my 13th birthday, my great grandmother died, and she was an incredibly interesting and intelligent lady. She'd been a governess at a big stately home when she was younger and knew so much about the world. So that was a big wrench for me losing her. But about a year later, she actually came to me in what I thought initially was a dream. But I then realized actually, no, she was in the room. Her energy, her spirit was with me. And we talked for a very long time about my mission, about why I was here this time round. And so when she finally, her energy dissipated and she left, I had no conscious memory of what we'd discussed, but I knew it was important and I knew it was about what I had to do while I was here. And I knew it was connected to Jesus. And
And
it
it was
was,
in your heart, but it was
yeah,
impacted in you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it always felt that he was watching over me, that he was with me. So that was incredible.
So you went through your confirmation.
Yeah, that was that was quite an incredible experience, really. I was only about 12, I think, and we were our church. Although it was a small village church, it was actually high church, and our local priest was actually a canon, and he took us to a monastery, sacred monastery, for a retreat to learn all the lessons we needed to learn before our confirmation. And I absolutely loved it there. I did not want to leave. The energy was so amazing. And whenever we had free time, I used to sneak off and go back to the chapel and just sit in the quiet in the chapel. And I just felt so at home, and I felt so connected to my ethereal family and to Jesus. And it was such an amazing experience for me. And our confirmation was supposed to be held in Peterborough Cathedral, which I was really excited about initially because one of my great-great-great-grandfathers was Bishop of Peterborough Cathedral. And I'd never been there, so I was quite excited. And so Earl Spencer, unfortunately, contacted the vicar and asked him if we could change the venue, because one of the students in our group was one of his daughters, Diana. And so the vicar changed it, and the bishop came over to Althorpe, to Princess Diana's home. And we had our confirmation in the little church in the estate instead of the cathedral. So I wasn't very pleased. However, it's lovely to think that I was confirmed with Princess Diana. And who knew then where our lives would take us? Just two little girls from a village. So that was special.
So let's get back to that mission. So great grandmother had that that tete-a-tete with you at age 14 or whatever it was, beginning to reveal your mission. What was the next step?
Meeting you, really. I'd already started learning through different modalities, different hands-on healing, and some different angel courses, and I just didn't feel that I was being fulfilled. It just didn't feel quite enough ever. And then I got a Facebook message saying that you were coming over, and you were going to be in one of the bookshops nearby. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to invite my husband and my sons to come along and hear you speak, just so that they sort of got what I was doing, because they didn't really get it. They didn't really understand what I was doing. So we all went along and met you. And as soon as I met you, I just felt as if I'd known you forever. And there was just such a lovely energy connection. And I think you felt something as well, because you sort of said to me, Jodi, I know you're working with the angels. I can see them all around you. Will you keep in contact and let me know what you do with them? And so we did keep in contact, which was lovely. And eventually you sent me an email saying, this incredible thing is happening. I've been downloading this new ministry, this angel ministry, where you have a look and see what you think. And I think it was something like 16 pages long. And I read your email and I just thought, my God, this has been written for me. I need to be doing this. It felt so perfect and genuine. It felt so genuine and so filled with love. It was unbelievable. I was so happy. And so I obviously signed up straight away for the very first angel ministry course. And almost as soon as I started, doing my homework and writing for the course, they started downloading stuff to me, prayers and services, and it was just incredible. And then one evening I was writing, and the room just filled with God's energy, and this voice just beamed out. My son is with you. Continue his work. Bring the people back to my love. And it filled my whole body. It resonated through my body. I could hear it in my body. I could hear it in the room. It totally filled the room. And it was incredible. And it kept repeating. So I wrote it down. And that was my mission. And so I wrote it to you in one of my ministerial reports. And it moved you as well so much. And then Mary started working with you with that, which was just incredible. And it wasn't the first time I'd heard his voice. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but when my baby girl, my eldest child, was born, she was about 5 months old, and she just had her bottle and changed her and sorted her out, and she was just laying in her crib and gurgling away, and I was just watching her, and I stood by her crib, and I was just in awe of this beautiful little baby, and I suddenly became aware of someone standing next to me, and I thought, oh, okay. And I sort of very, very slightly moved so that I could see who was next to me, and it was Jesus. Totally three-dimensionally, not in a spiritual sort of haze. He was completely solid, standing next to me and looking straight at my baby. And my first reaction, I'm ashamed to say, was fear, because I thought, oh no, he's come to take her. Because I'd lost 3 babies before I had my daughter. So she was very, very special. And I looked at my daughter, and I went to try and pick her up to say, please don't take her. And I couldn't move. It was bizarre. It was as if there was just a force around me stopping me from moving. But I could move my eyes, and I looked back at him, and I could see the love in his eyes. So deep, so pure, so complete. And it was as if I wasn't there. He was there just looking at my daughter. And then I looked back at my daughter, and she was still gurgling and happy. And I realized that I could relax, that he wasn't here to take her away. He was just showing me that he loved her. His depth of love for her was incredible. And literally at that moment, as I relaxed, again, the room just filled with this voice. And it makes me a bit emotional thinking about it now. But the voice said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." And I knew that just in that split second, my love for my daughter had been so pure that I had been given this amazing gift of being able to see Jesus 3-dimensionally. He was completely solid. And then, as I say, the room just filled with this voice, and it repeated about 5 times, I think. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And then his energy just went from the room. It was such an incredible experience. So when his voice came through to me again and said, "My son is with you, continue his work, bring the people back to my love," the words were so incredibly full of love. They were full of love. And then, of course, when you contacted me saying, "I've been working with Mother Mary and I need to do this rosary and use some of your prayers, is that okay?" I was like, "Oh, thank you, God, thank you. This is so wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful." And it was so lovely because Mary, although I haven't, at that point, I hadn't worked with Mary a lot, but she did come through to me years and years ago. I was at a spiritual retreat on Anglesey, and we'd been out to a monastery, a Franciscan monastery, and something incredible happened in the monastery chapel. I was drawn to the chapel. We had some free time, and I was drawn to a particular place to stand in front of the altar and say some prayers. And I just suddenly felt this incredible sense of peace come over me. And I don't know how long I'd been standing there. And then I was aware that the door clicked and someone else had come into the room. And I thought, "Oh, maybe I ought to go." And so I started walking backwards, and it was one of my fellow students on the same course, and he beckoned me over, and he said, "Jodi, I've just seen the most amazing thing. As you stood there," he said, "I saw the Holy Spirit as a dove go straight into your spine and open its wings." And he said it was incredible. He said, I can't believe I've just witnessed that." And I said, "Well, I felt something change. I felt something happen to me. There was a sudden different rush of energy. And that was incredible." And then later that day, because it was quite an intensive course we were on, we went back to the center and we were doing a meditation that evening. And Mother Mary came to me, and it was so lovely. She came forward, and as she came forward, I opened my hands. Don't know why, but I did. And she put in my right hand the most beautiful full-blown rose, a really pretty rose, a pink rose. And it lay on my hand, and I thanked her for the gift. And and part of me was thinking, how am I going to look after this and not damage it? Because it was so beautiful and perfect and large. And as I thought that, it just melted into my hand. And now, whenever I work with Mary, I show her my hand, and it's there. It's still in my hand. And it only appears when she appears. It's so beautiful. And so I knew it was something to do with my future, but I didn't know what the gift was or what it was supposed to signify, until we were drawn here to France. And as you know, Kimberly, we were divinely drawn.
Oh, please tell us that story, because that story is so amazing. Please.
It's well, Peter and I, we love France, and we had a holiday home here. We bought it on our honeymoon, which was a lovely story in itself. But we always knew it wasn't going to be our forever home. We always knew there was something different waiting for us, and we knew it had to be further north. for one thing, it was too hot in the south of France. But we just felt being pulled further north. And then when COVID hit and I had a heart operation and things, we had to go back to England. And we tried to settle in England and we just couldn't. And Peter said, I feel that we should go back to France. And it just felt so right. And I said, yes. So the very first time we put our house on the market, it sold straight away. We thought, okay, this is obviously the guys upstairs want this to happen. The very first visit, we came down and we stayed at a chateau that does bed and breakfast. And we wandered the grounds. We'd stayed in quite a few chateaux in France because the price of a chateau for a B&B is actually the same as a little hotel. So they're very reasonable here. Anyway, I was wandering around, we were wandering around the grounds and we went into the chapel. And although it was very badly damaged, part of the ceiling sadly was coming down, the energy in the chapel was just so beautiful. And I just turned around to Peter and said out loud, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to do some angel services in this chapel? And he said, well, if you ask, you never know. And that was that. So that evening, we were having dinner with the Chatelaine, the lady who owned the chateau. And we got chatting and I said, oh, I've been to your lovely chapel. It's so beautiful, the energy. And Peter piped up and said, oh, you do know Jodi's a reverend, don't you? And she said, oh, wow, would you be interested in doing some services for us in the chapel? Thank you. So that was amazing. And I said, yes, of course. So literally we started looking in the area for a house and we got some lined up. And we went to see them and none of them were quite right. And then we were drawn to this village and I'd never heard of it before. It's called Neuvy-Saint-Sepulcre. And the basilica here is a World UNESCO site. In the 10th century, a cardinal went off to the Holy Land. And when he was in Jerusalem, the priests there gave him two sacred relics. One was a stone from Christ's tomb, and the other was a little phial of sacred blood. And he brought them back to Nevi, and he built a replica of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem in the village. And embedded in the church is the stone from Christ's tomb, and on the little side chapel is the Holy Blood. So it's an incredibly interesting and holy place. And we were able to have a look at a house here, which was exactly what, in theory, we wanted. But we were sort of torn because the garden wasn't very big. And the estate agent said to us, well, we do have another one on our books. And he said, oh, I can show you that. And we said, okay, we'll have a look. And so as soon as we got here, the energy of this place is just incredible. There is there's some outbuildings, there's a little stable that as soon as I walked in, I said to Peter, this is my chapel. So I have the start of a little chapel in the stable, and it even has its own manger, yeah. So at Christmas, I can put the nativity set in the manger. But the woodland, we have fields, we have beautiful garden, and the garden was very French, very just grass and shrubs and trees. And as I walked across the garden, I thought there needs to be a rosary here. There needs to be a rose garden. And I just felt sort of Mary's gentle presence. And I thought, is this what is the rose is all about? The rose that she gave me. And anyway, Peter said, okay, they've told me that someone else is going to come and have a look at this house tomorrow for a second visit. What do you want to do? He said, how would you feel if we lost this house? And I felt pain in my heart. And I just said, I'd feel gutted. We need to buy this house. So that was it. We bought it. And one of the very first things we started to do was build the rosary. And I wanted to do it properly. And I wanted to make sure that I was pleasing Mary and not doing anything to upset her. So I felt, although the rose she gave me was pink, I felt that the rosary needed to be white, pure, because her energy is so pure. And so I initially bought 8 roses, ground cover roses, which a long time ago, I was told that the 8-pointed star was very important. And I know that I need to have an 8-pointed star in the chapel. So I got 8 roses, ground cover roses. I then got 4 climbing roses. So I had 12 in total, which is a significant number. And the size of the rosary, we decided we wanted it to be a sacred circle. So we researched it and found that to have a sacred circle, the radius needed to be the length of a monk's belt. So we researched the length of a monk's belt and we measured it out, and one of us stood in the middle and we just did a circle to the correct dimensions for a sacred circle. And then we've put the 12 roses in. And the 4 climbing roses, I bought white obelisks with little birds on the top, because the 4 Gospels. And the birds just, I often feel St. Francis's energy with me. So that felt really right, that his energy should be included in the sacred circle. And then at the head of the circle, I have what I call a bird cage. It's a metal sort of gazebo, pretty metal gazebo that people use for weddings. And I now have a lovely statue of Mary in there. And there's 6 panels, and the 3 panels that are sort of half solid, I've put 3 more roses around because I thought the Holy Trinity would be lovely surrounding Mary. And then we're sort of filling the rosary with other plants as well, but it's mainly it's all white, everything is white. But it's mainly the roses. And I'm sure over the years, there'll be more and more roses planted in the rosary. So, yeah.
Oh, how incredible. I can't wait to see all that.
I think next year it'll be stunning because they'll have grown sort of a little bit more. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So you're going to guide us through a meditation with Mother Mary.
Yeah. Now, the work I've been doing with Mary lately, we've been doing a lot of work for Russia, because I don't know if you all know the story of Lady of Fatima, but when Mary visited the children in Portugal, one of the secrets that she told one of the children that wasn't to be told to anybody but the Pope, the Pope didn't act on it at the time. He has done now, the new Pope has done, which is wonderful. And we're all praying that it's not too late. But Mary was concerned about her love being taken to Russia. And she wanted the Pope to consecrate Russia and for her Sacred Heart. And for whatever reason, he decided not to. However, as I say, the new Pope, the Pope we have that is in charge of the Catholic Church, has now consecrated Russia. And the very first country ever to be consecrated to Mary's love and her Sacred Heart was the Ukraine, which is interesting. Anyway, so to help with the energy of love to be given to Russia, I've been working with a group, and every week we do a specific sort of meditation that is connected to Mary's love and given to the people of Russia, the children of Russia, so that she can soften the energy there and hopefully things can be dissipated and calmed. And so if you would like to join me, then what I ask people to do, whether they are, I mean, everybody on here is obviously interested in angels and the love that angels give to us and God and his whole family. And some of you might be healers, some of you might be hands-on healers as well, Reiki healers. I happen to be a Reiki master healer as well. But whatever area of expertise you have or whatever area you're interested in, we all know that the answer to everything is love, God's love, divine love. And so if we can try and help the people to feel that love, then hopefully that might help. So if you'd just like to take a nice deep breath and just center your energy. And some of you might like to invite your angels and your guides. And those of you who do Reiki, if you want to invite your highest Reiki guides. Intention is everything, pure intention, pure love. And so as you center your energy and just close your eyes and relax your body, I want you to visualize that in your hands that you are holding a miniature globe sphere that is our Earth. And I want you to look into that sphere. And I want you to focus on the area of the land mass that is Russia. And as we focus, thank you. And as we focus on that energy, I've just felt our beloved Mary coming into us. As you focus on the energy of Russia, I want you to visualize that Mary, our beloved mother, is standing with you, cupping her hands around yours and looking down with you to this mass of earth we call Russia. And as you see her eyes alight upon that area of the globe, feel her energy filling your energy. Feel her energy filling your room, the sweetness, the gentleness, filled with grace, filled with love. And as we focus upon the globe, sending love, attached with the divine love of Mary, feel the energy permeate through that country, through the people, the children, allowing them to feel and know that this love is coming to them, divinely guided from our beloved Mary, whose sacred heart is so full of love. Feel that love grow. Feel the children's energy change, filled with her love, her grace, her gentleness. And as we see this happening in our mind's eye, feeling that love enveloping all the people of Russia, especially the children, seeing them radiate her love, her gentleness, her grace. And as you focus on that energy, see rose petals coming down from the sky, completely covering Russia, completely covering every man, woman, and child, giving them blessings of love, of gracious gentleness, the softness and purity of Mary, filling all the people with her divine love. Sit in the energy, see it spread, feel the love vibrate through every cell of your body, allowing yourself to become one with the energy of Mary, our Divine Mother. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all the angels and archangels, guides, spiritual helpers who have assisted us today in spreading Mary's love, being at one with Mary's grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And when you feel ready, take a deep breath, wiggle your toes and fingers, and thank your own guides and angels for being with you today.
Jodi, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And as I say to all my groups that that I work with when we're working with Mary, please use that visualization in meditations anytime, anywhere. Just try and send more love to areas of conflict or other areas. I've been guided to send it to Russia, but there might be areas that you're aware of that need our help as well. So please feel free to use that as often as you possibly can.
Thank you. Thank you. Monica says that was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Monica.
Who else would like to share about your experience with that? You can type into the chat, you can raise your hand, or we're a small group, you can also just unmute and speak up.
I found that to be a very lovely experience. Thank you so much, Reverend Jodi.
Oh, thank you, Joel. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Please do it again whenever you can.
Thank you. Thank you. Monica says, I saw white petals of roses falling from the sky. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. That was just beautiful for me.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I could feel the love going into the children and the young adults and everyone. And to the rulers, I sent it to the government. Could feel it going into the government. Beautiful. Minna says, I loved to be able to join you in this meditation. The energy felt very strong for me. My angels and company loved it too.
Wow.
Oh, Debbie says at one point I could smell a rose scent. Oh, lovely.
Oh, wonderful.
And Danuta says, thank you so much, Jodi.
Pleasure. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Danuta, I don't know if you know, but tomorrow Danuta is doing a rosary reading with Nina from Russia. She's going to read a part of it in Russian.
Oh, wow.
Danuta's going to do Lithuanian, and she has another friend who will do some Latvian, a portion in Latvian.
So, oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I love hearing the rosary in different languages. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, this is just so beautiful. Oh, Megan says, I love this experience with you today.
Good.
Megan is my sister.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah. She has such a precious heart. Yes.
Like her sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, we are all such family. We're such family in the seraphim. You know, very early on, as the angel ministry was starting, I heard the Order of the Seraphim, and I got a little bit of information with that Order of the Seraphim. So I got domains, Order of the Seraphim, and they haven't really revealed to me yet what to do with that. I got some early visions, but never got the full energy to know what to do with it next. So I'm feeling it again now. I'm feeling we're the Order of the Seraphim, and perhaps now's the time for the next revealing to take place. So we'll see about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So this energy is so very precious now. I think that what I'd love to do is ask if you have a final blessing for us, and then just end here so that we can linger in this beautiful energy without chatting too much.
Okay. So, beloved Seraphim sisters and brothers, the Order of the Seraphim, I ask Mother Mary to place her hand upon your head and instill in you her grace and love, giving you strength and confidence in whatever path God has chosen for you. Her energy is so pure, so filled with love, so gracious. You can call upon her and her energy whenever you feel the need. Know that you have been divinely guided here. And as your path gently unfolds, stay true to your heart with Mary's blessing. Through Christ our Lord, and with the hosts of angels and archangels. Stay in the energy of God. Be the divine spark of light that shows others the way. And so it is.
So it is. Oh, thank you, Jodi. I felt that. I felt that blessing. I felt the mother's hand on my head and that beautiful infusion of love. Thank you so much. And our beloved Erica says that since joining this Angel Healer Summit, her origin of the seraphim has been amplified in several ways. And beloved Erica, if you feel like speaking, I'd love to hear more about that. And Marty says, thank you for the gentle mother's energy blessing. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So This energy is just so lovely, I think. That let's stop talking now so that we can all continue to go deeper into this energy. I suggest that you journal about your experience. This is a great place to ask questions of the Holy Mother and listen for a response. Oh, thank you again, beloved Reverend Jodi, for sharing the blessings of your mystical union with the Holy Mother and the angels, and your sweet love that is so powerful. Cindy says the energy is so beautiful and peaceful. Yes, yes. So once again, I encourage you to linger in this energy and really let it infuse you profoundly. Let it change you. Thank you. Thank you.